Hello viewers, today in this lecture I will tell you about the jatis of rag, which is connected with the rules of the rag and about which every student should be aware of either theoretically or practically while presenting a rag. Raga Jati indicates the number of swars, that is notes, used in a rag. How many notes are used in a row and a row, that is ascending and descending order of a particular rag, determines the jati of a rag. Before describing about the rule which confirms the jati on the basis of the number of notes used in a rag, we should know what is rag. Though in my previous lecture on That and Rag, I had explained in detail about rag, yet I want to brief once again that rag is the base of Indian music. Indian music is revealed through rags. In old Indian Sanskrit text, rag has been defined as Ranjati iti raga, which means which colors the minds is a rag, just as a painter paints a blank canvas with colors and forms, so is the human mind, which can be colored or affected by the pleasing and soothing sounds having the capability of pleasing the minds of the listeners. Not irrelevant to mention that the word rag has been found in Brahadeshi text of Pandit Matang in the 7th century for the first time, and since then it has been defined in various ways by the forthcoming music scholars. But not even a single definition gives the exact and accurate picture of the Indian term rag in its present sense. However, in the Sanskrit text Abhinav Rag Manjari, rag has been defined as Yoyan Dhvani Visheshatu Swar Varana Vibhushita Ranjko Janchitana Sarag Kathita Buddha, which means such a peculiar combination of swar and varans having the capability of pleasing the minds of the listeners is known as rag by the intellectuals or the wise people. According to this definition, 2 points are very clear. A rag should be having swar and varans, and with their combination, it should be capable of pleasing the minds of the listeners. Now, instead of going into the practical aspect of rag, I will elaborate its theoretical aspect. Theoretically, it is essential to know about the principles or the rules laid down for Hindustani rag. In the present day rag gayan, we do follow certain rules laid down for it, which may be termed as the principles or the rules of rag. Amongst the rules of making of a rag, one prominent principle is that a rag must have at least 5 notes. Any musical composition which comprises less than 5 notes is not considered a rag. So a rag may be having all the 7 notes of the octave, or maybe 6 notes dropping 1 note, or may be having 5 notes of the octave dropping any 2 notes. But in any case, not less than 5 notes. This number of notes determines the jati of a rag. Before going into the detail of jatis, let's know about another very significant rule, which is deeply connected with the previous rule. That is, every Indian rag, shadaj or sa is the keynote. Hence, sa note cannot be dropped out in any rag, even if the rag is of 6 notes. Any other note except sa can be omitted, but not sa. Another rule is also related to this rule, that in a rag, the notes namely ma and pa are not allowed to be dropped together at the same time. The reason being that the complete scale or octave is divided into two tetrachords, Purvang and Uttrang. Ma and Pa, these two notes come in both the parts, Purvang as well as Uttrang. Thus, these two common notes in both the tetrachords are not allowed to be omitted at the same time, even if the rag is of 5 notes. So, it is obvious that a rag comprises either 7 notes or 6 notes or 5 notes. If a rag contains all the 7 notes of the octave in a systematic order, it is said to be Sampurna or heptatonic. If it takes 6 notes omitting any one note, it is known as Shadav. And if any rag takes 5 notes omitting any 2 notes, not necessarily consecutive, it is known as Odam. This simply means that Sampurna rag contains all the 7 notes of the octave, whereas Shadav takes any 6 notes omitting any one note, and Odam uses any 5 notes leaving any 2 notes of the octave. Thus, there can be 3 main jatis or categories of rag on the basis of the number of the notes used in a rag, which are Sampurna, Shadav and Odam. Now, let us know what is Sampurna. Sampurna rag contains all the 7 notes of the octave. That means not even a single swar or note is omitted in such a rag. For example, Rag Bilawal, Rag Jaman, Rag Bhairav, etc. These rags contain all the 7 notes. Hence, these are known as rags of Sampurna Jati.
Rag Bhairav. Sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa sa ni dha pa ma ga ma re sa ga ma da pa da ma pa.
A Shadav rag contains any 6 notes of the octave. In the other words, a rag that contains only 6 swars or notes of the octave, omitting any one note, is known as Shadav rag. For example, Rag Marwa, Rag Puriya, Rag Soni, all these rags are of 6 notes, dropping Panchab or Pa note. Hence, all these rags are known as rags of Shadav Jati.
Sa re ga ma dha ni sa sa ni da ma ga re ni dha re sa.
As I have stated earlier, that Sa note cannot be dropped in any rag in any case, because Sa is the key note of any Indian rag. Except Sa, any one of the remaining 6 notes can be dropped depending upon the structure of rag. The next is Odav. Odav rag contains any 5 notes of the octave. In the other words, a rag that contains any 5 notes of the octave omitting any 2 notes is known as Odav rag. For example, Rag Bhupali, Rag Deshkar, Rag Malkons, Rag Chandrakons, etc. are the rags of 5 notes. Ma and Ni are omitted in Rag Bhupali and Rag Deshkar, whereas Re and Pa are not used in Rag Malkons and Chandrakons. Hence, these are the rags of Odav Jati.
sa ga ma dha ni sa sa ni dha ma ga sa dha ni sa ga ma ga sa.
While omitting any two notes in odd rag, we should always remember the significant rule about dropping the notes, that ma and pa, these two notes are not allowed to be dropped together at the same time, because these two notes are common notes in both Purva and Uttara parts of the octave. Hence, these two common notes in both the parts are not allowed to be omitted simultaneously in any rag. You can see in the script the table regarding these three main jatis of rag, which are Sampurna, Shadav and Odav. In Hindustani music, all the rags in vogue cannot be categorized under the aforesaid Sampurna, Shadav and Odav jatis of rag, because there are very few such rags having all the 7 swar in both Aro and Avro, or 6 or the 5 notes in both its ascending and descending order. Yes, here we are reminded of another very important rule of the rag, that is, a rag must possess Aro and Avro, that is, ascending and descending order both, because a rag is not revealed completely merely from its Aro. Aro and Avro both are necessarily required to complete a rag formation. The number of notes may vary in the Aro and Avro of the rag. Hence, the different numbers of notes in Aro and Avro further generate more jatis of rag. Let's know how this is possible. For example, the Aro of a rag may be Sampurna, that is having all the 7 notes of the octave, but its Avro may be Shadav or Odav, omitting any 1 or 2 notes. Same may be said about Shadav and Odav rags. So, when the 3 main jatis or the kinds are mixed together in such a way, we can have 3 different jatis from each of the main jati. You can see in the script the 3 subcategories of Sampurna jati while mixing it with Shadav and Odav. These are Sampurna Sampurna, Sampurna Shadav and Sampurna Odav. When all the 7 notes of the octave, the notes may be Shuddh or Vikrit, are used in Aro and Avro of any rag, the jati of that particular rag is known as Sampurna Sampurna. Sampurna Sampurna rag must have all the 7 notes of the octave in its Aro as well as Avro. For example, Rag Bilawal, Rag Jaman, Rag Bhairav, etc. are such rags of Sampurna Sampurna jati.
Rag Kalyan. Ni re ga ma pa ma da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa ni re ga ma re ma ga re ni re sa.
A rag, when contains all the 7 notes of the octave in its Aro or ascending order and dropping any 1 note except Sa in its Avro, is said to be the rag of Sampurna Shadav jati. When a rag takes all the 7 notes of the octave in Aro, that is ascending order, and drops any 2 notes in Avro, that is descending order, It is known as Sampurna Audav Rag. As three different jatis of rag formed by mixing Sampurna Jati with Shadav and Audav, so is the case of other two main jatis. Thus, while mixing Shadav Jati with Sampurna and Audav, again three more jatis are generated, which are shown in the table in the script, which are Shadav Sampurna, Shadav Shadav and Shadav Audav. Now let's know the number of notes in these three jatis of Shadav Jati. Shadav Sampurna Rag omits any one note except Sa out of the 7 notes of an octave in its Aroh and uses all the 7 notes in its Avroh. Rag Khamaj, Rag Jaunpuri, etc. are the rags of Shadav Sampurna Jati.
Sa re ma pa dha ni sa sa ni da pa pa ma ga re sa pa da ni sa sa dha pa ma pa ga re ma pa.
Shadav Shadav Rag drops any one note out of the 7 notes of an octave in both its Aroh as well as Avroh, that is, ascending and descending order. As stated earlier, Rag Marwa, Rag Puriya, Rag Soni are the prominent examples of Shadav Shadav Rags. Pancham or Pa note is omitted in both the Aroh and Avroh of these rags. Thus, all rags are of 6 notes and hence are of Shadav Jati.
Rag Soni. Sa ga ma dha ni sa re ni dha ma ga re sa ma da ni sa re sa.
Shadav Audav Rags uses 6 notes and 5 notes respectively in its ascending and descending order. That is 6 notes in its Aroh, omitting any one note, and 5 notes in Avroh, that is omitting any 2 notes. Here again we are reminded of the rule which about dropping any one note, that Sa note cannot be dropped out, and while dropping any 2 notes, Ma and Pa notes cannot be dropped together at the same time in any rag. As we can have 3 different varieties from Sampurna as well as Shadav Jati, in the same manner Audav Jati too generates 3 jatis while mixing with Sampurna and Shadav. The 3 jatis of the Audav Jati are shown in the table in the script, which are Audav Sampurna, Audav Shadav and Audav Audav. Now let's know how many notes these all jatis carry. Audav Sampurna Rag always use 5 notes in its Aroh and all the 7 notes of the octave in its Avroh. Rag Desh, Rag Bhimpalasi, Rag Asavri, Rag Kedar and many more rags fall in this category of Audav Sampurna Jati.
Rag Bhimpalasi. Ni sa ga ma pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa.
Audav Shadav Rag is that when a rag uses only 5 notes in Aroh, that is ascending order, and 6 notes in its Avroh, that is descending order. That means omitting any 2 notes in Aroh and adding 1 more note and using 6 notes in Avroh is known as the rag of Audav Shadav Jati. Rag Bageshwari, Rag Shankara, Rag Rageshwari are the examples of this jati.
Rag Bhageshwari. Sa ga ma dha ni sa sa ni dha ma ba da ga ma ga re sa.
Odav, Odav. Odav Odav Rag always uses 5 notes both in its arrow and avroh, thus leaving any 2 notes of the octave in its ascending as well as descending order, except Ma and Pa together. The prominent examples of this category are Rag Bhopali, Rag Deshkar, Rag Durga, Rag Malkons, Rag Chandrakons, etc.
Rag Chandrakosh. Sa ga ma dha ni sa sa ni dha ma ga sa ni sa.
Thus we can say that there are 3 main jatis of rag, which are Sampurna, Shadav and Odav. When mixed together, these 3 jatis with each other, then 3 jatis from each of these main jati are generated. In this way, 9 jatis in all are generated from 3 main jatis, which are shown in the table in the script. The 9 jatis are Sampurna Sampurna, Sampurna Shadav and Sampurna Odav, Shadav Sampurna, Shadav Shadav and Shadav Odav, Odav Sampurna, Odav Shadav and Odav Odav. The number of swars, that is notes, of all the aforesaid 9 jatis of rag can be briefed like this. You can see in the script. Sampurna Sampurna, arrow 7, avroh 7. Sampurna Shadav, arrow 7, avroh 6. Sampurna Odav, arrow 7, avroh 5. Shadav Sampurna, arrow 6, avroh 7. Shadav Shadav, arrow 6, avroh 6. Shadav Odav, arrow 6, avroh 5. Odav Sampurna, arrow 5, avroh 7. Odav Shadav, arrow 5, avroh 6. Odav Odav, arrow 5 and avroh also 5. Usually all the rags of Hindustani music fall under these 9 jatis of rags. But there are rags which do not abide by the rules of jatis and use all the 12 notes, that is Shuddha and Vikrit in rags. Bhairavi, Pilu, etc. are such rags in which musicians take the liberty of using all the 12 notes on certain other conditions. These may be said the exceptions of these jatis of rag. While concluding, we can say that though jatis of rag indicate the numbers of notes used in a particular rag, yet it is very essential to know jati while performing a rag. It not only helps to have a very clear picture of a rag, but also directs the performer for the accurate development of a rag, and thus unveiling or presenting to the listener a very clear picture of a rag. Thank you.